Okay, you ready to roll? Ready to go? All right. Before we get into a proof of how to prove lines parallel, I want to make sure you can identify them. So I'm going to give you a fact about the diagram. I want to know, is it good enough to say the lines are parallel? If it is, what lines are parallel? And then we're going to write our new reasons now. So I'm first going to go number 8. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. First thing we need to check, do they have a line in common?
Yes.
So let's take a peek. I wouldn't recommend highlighting on yours because obviously you guys can see that would be a lot of highlighting. So I'll just do it on mine. 1, 2 are congruent. Take a look. Do they have a line in common?
Yes.
What is the line in common?
You.
U. So that means that's the transversal, which means the other two lines, which are R and S, are your parallel lines. Okay, so that's the first thing we need to check. Are they parallel because they have a line, in this case, U in common? Yep. So 8 is going to be, hey, R is parallel to S. And here's the new piece for today, the Y part. The Y part. What type of angles are 1 and 2? Don't say anything because hopefully we know by now. What type of angles are 1 and 2 that I gave you congruent? Where are we going with that one, John?
Corresponding.
They're corresponding. Now, last 2 days, what did we write? Parallel lines imply corresponding angles congruent. But I don't have parallel lines. I'm proving them. So guess what I'm going to do? Flip the order of the implies. Flip it. What do I have here? Corresponding angles congruent. And now what I'm going to write? Implies parallel lines, because now I'm proving the lines are parallel. All right, so all we're going to do is flip our reasons today. Everyone all right? Because I was given a pair of congruent corresponding angles, that makes the lines parallel. One doesn't make you great. I'm not going to do all of these with you. You're going to do the ones we don't do in your groups. But let's go to number 9. Everybody, 2, angle 2 is congruent to angle 9. First check. Do I have a line in common?
Yes.
What line is the line in common?
Yes.
That's my transversal. Meaning the other two,
U and V.
U and V, have to be the parallel lines. Now it's just a matter of what type of angles are those, because they do have a line in common, so they are special. And I know we haven't mentioned this a lot. 2 and 9. And remember, U and V are your parallel lines. Inside, outside, same side, alternate, right? Take a peek so you can put it all together. Connor, you got a good name for those?
Alternate exterior.
Good job. Alternate exterior angles congruent imply parallel lines. Good, good, good. Questions? All right, I'm going to skip to 11. You guys can do 10 in your group, so please don't do it right now. So let's go to 11. 7 and 8 equal 180. That's another way of me saying what? They are? All right, does that help? Let's see. 7, 8, line in common? Line in common? V, yep. So they have to be, what lines have to be parallel now? R and S. Now the question is, what type of angles did I give you right there? We're supplementary, right? Whoa. It should help you that they're supplementary. There's only 2 types of angles that are supplementary. What did I give you here? What did I give you? Where are we going? Gage, what did I give you here? 7 and 8 are, take a look. We're saying R and S. Are they inside or outside?
Inside.
Inside, and we said V was our transversal, same side or alternate?
Same side.
Put them together, what are you giving me?
Same side, supplementary.
Same side. They are supplementary.
Yeah.
Inside or outside?
Inside.
Okay, same side.
Okay. Same side angles.
Interior.
Interior.
There we go. Same.
My bad.
It is your bad. Same side. Interior angles. Now watch it here. Am I going to put congruent? I hope not. What did we say about them? Supplementary, or are supplementary, imply parallel lines. And let's skip to, which one did I want to do one more with you on purpose. Number 14. Number 14. 3 and 7. Do they have a line in common?
Yes.
What line would that be then?
T.
Okay, whoa. Okay, I figured this would happen. Angle 7 is made up of what two lines? You didn't say T. V and R. Angle 3 is made up of what two lines?
Yes.
U and S. Nobody said T. Just because the vertex is on T doesn't mean anything. Right? Everyone agrees. 7's made up of R and V. 3's made up of U and S. I didn't hear anything in common there. Right? So what am I trying to tell you? They have no relationship. They're not alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side, nothing. Corresponding, nothing. Alternate, nothing. All right? They do not have a transversal, a line in common. T is not what they have. Just because their vertex is there means nothing. They have to lie on one of the lines. All right? So knowing 3 is congruent to 7 gives us no parallel lines. All right, and sometimes that's the answer. No parallel lines in this diagram if I know 3 is congruent to 7. All right, everyone see that? Just because the vertex is on there doesn't mean anything. They have to share a full line. All right, so that means what do you guys have left to do here? You got 10, 12, 13, and 15, right? All right, go ahead in your groups. You got 4. If you think they're parallel, tell me what lines and why. You got to check if they have a line in common first before you tell me what the lines are parallel, because if they don't, no parallel
They
lines.
use parallel to be, is it alternate exterior or alternate interior?
So, same side, interior.
So like
I mean, alternate interior.
so that proves R
Interior.
alternate interaction.
I put in exterior, but I'm second guessing myself. Let me check the notes.
These are
I know, so earlier.
So S is the transversal unit. Same side interior. Same side interior. Yeah.
What's that same stuff? How is that interior is not exterior?
It's exterior.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of it wrong.
Do you feel like the U or like the R is parallel with S before? Is that just what we're?
That's what you're finding.
Well, it's just a statement.
That would be your statement, yes. And your reason would be what we're writing right next to
It's
it. Yeah.
parallel to B because
They share S.
Yeah, it's alternate.
same side exterior. No, the exterior because they're on that side. See,
And then 4 and 5. So
I'm pretty sure that's interior.
Oh, it's a view feed, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
That's all I got.
And then
Well, the
it's
next
4
one's
and
probably
5.
interior. No, that's probably interior because music part S. Interior.
Yeah, its corresponding angles are to imply.
Should we go to
Same side.
9? Did we do 9?
Yeah, we have to do 13, 15.
All right, we're going to start here in a few.
Wait a minute. 12 is interior. Because
Yeah.
3 and 5 is interior.
All right, here we go. Let's talk. Number 10, if 5 is congruent to 7, do you have any parallel lines? If so, let me know the parallel lines. Shoom. Connor, do you guys have any parallel lines for number 10 if 5 and 7 are congruent?
The R and S are parallel.
Yep, because what are 5 and 7? Those are?
Alternate interior.
Good job. Everyone's good? 5 and 7 give you R and S because they're alternate interior. What's next? Number 12 here. Number 12. Shoom. 20, Will, what do you got? Any parallel lines if 3 and 6 add up to 180?
Same side, interior.
Yep.
U is parallel to V.
Good.
Same side, interior angles are supplementary.
Perfect. Okay. U and U's parallel to V. Any questions so far? All right. How about 13? If I give you 3 congruent to 5, any parallel lines? Gage? U and V because the 3 and 5 are? Alternate interior. We're good. Finally, and then 15. If 4 is congruent to 5, any parallel lines up there? Connor, back to you.
For which one? 15?
Yep. If 4 and 5. So 4, 5.
U and V would be.
Hold on. Look at up here. 4 and 5. What line do they have in
Never
common?
mind.
They have V in common.
Never mind.
So it would be what?
R and S.
R and S, and what type of angles?
Corresponding.
There you go. Everyone's all right. Before we actually start a proof now, proving parallel lines. All right, let's do it. We only have 2 today, but they're going to take a while. So go ahead, get this set up for me, and then we will talk. Are you given any parallel lines? No, so I can't, none of my reasons should be parallel lines imply here. But I'm asking you to prove a set is parallel. And if you want to highlight that set, you can. ST and VU need to be parallel. Please make sure you realize that they need to be parallel. They're not given parallel. But here's what I want you to do in your group right now, real quick. Only focusing on angles 1, 2, and 3, the ones I numbered. Remember, I number them for a reason, for you to look at them. I don't care about angle U in this proof. If I'd given you and your group that they were parallel, find a pair of angles that would be congruent. 30 seconds. Go ahead.
2 and 3 alternate interior.
If I gave you these lines were parallel, you would tell me automatically which 2 angles up here would be congruent. Numbered angles only.
Numbered angles only.
I don't care about angle U. I don't care about the vertical angles. All right, here we go. So if I gave this was given to you in your group, you would tell me which 2 angles up here would be congruent. Shoom, Will? 2 would be congruent to 3. Everyone agrees?
Yeah.
That's your new proof now. Show me 2 is congruent to 3 without saying parallel lines apply, because guess what? You have no parallel lines. You got to do it some other way from unit 2 probably to get 2 congruent to 3. Get in your group, probably a minute, if that. Okay. You cannot say parallel lines apply because you have no parallel lines. You're trying to prove them. So there's got to be another method for me to get 2 congruent to 3.
And the alternate interior are congruent, which implies parallel lines.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. How did we find it? This shouldn't be too bad here. Where am I going? Henry, how'd you guys get 2 congruent to 3?
Substitution.
There you go. So 2, hey, 2 is congruent to 3. Substitution, and now this turns into one of those 6 problems I just had you do at the beginning of class. If 2 is congruent to 3, what 2 lines are now parallel? If 2 is congruent to 3, that gives me what set of parallel lines? ST is now parallel to UV, and we just spent 10 minutes writing reasons. What type of angles are 2 and 3? Those are, that was suspenseful. Kevin, what type of angles are 2 and 3? So alternate interior angles congruent imply parallel lines. That is how I'm going to have you guys approach these proving parallel lines proofs. You're going to pretend you know it's parallel, and then give me a pair of angles that should be congruent, then prove them. Everyone all right on this basic one? Because now, and we only have time for 2 today, so that's why you only see 2. Now this is probably the toughest one. I give you parallel lines and want another set parallel. So mark up your diagram, and then we'll talk. All right, and I actually put a box here to remind you guys to look for this. 30 seconds in your group. If we were given, not proved, but if we were given KM and LN were parallel, if that was in the givens, you and your group discuss in 30 seconds what angles would be congruent then. Because there's only one pair up there. Okay? If I had given you KM and LN were parallel, what 2 angles would have been congruent? Because those are the ones we're going to find. Which ones would need to be congruent?
It's the
All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. Talk to me, Connor. Which 2? If I gave you KM was parallel to LN, which 2 angles would be equal?
2 and 4.
Okay. We need to get 2 and 4 congruent somehow, without saying parallel lines imply, because I don't have it. Remember, you're trying to prove it. So you need to figure out a way using all these givens. Can we agree this is I can't use substitution on those 2, right? Nope. Okay, we're going to have to put our heads together here. But also, whoa. Let me start you on the right path at least. Let me start you on the right path. I told you that JM was parallel to KN for a reason. To find a pair of angles. All right, so let's start there together. If those 2 are parallel, do you see another pair that are automatically congruent up there? Theodore.
1 and 3.
So, all right, so let's start there. 1 is congruent to 3. Hey, this is where you got to be on your top of your game when you write this reason. This is something we did yesterday and the day before. Why is 1 congruent to 3? What did I have? I had parallel lines, and when I have parallel lines, that implies what type of angles did Theodore just give me? Corresponding angles congruent. And I'm going to leave it to you and your group right here to try to use all. Hey, whoa. Try to use these three to get to that one, right? Let's see what you can do. Go ahead. Let's see what you can do. Did we learn anything from a couple proofs we did in Unit 2?
Wait, what are we trying to get?
3 would be 2 is equal to 3.
We need to get like 2 to 3.
How are you going to organize all this to finally come out with 2 congruent to 4?
Then double substitution into 2 is equal to 4. Once we add that, we can say that congruent corresponding angles imply parallel lines.
And then you do corresponding angles imply.
Isn't it all in that order?
Yeah.
4 separate.
Yeah, it's like it's implied zero.
Simple 5 step phrase.
There are corresponding.
All right, let's come back up here. I've heard some great things here. Are we at the point where you're starting to understand this is not going to be just one substitution?
Yes.
All right, because you're like, oh, if that's equal, then this is equal. There's 1. And then those 2, so I get that. There's 2. So we could do this a couple different ways. I'm going to take these 2 right here. 1's congruent to 2, and 1 is also congruent to 3. So what 2 angles must be congruent then? 1 and 2 are equal, so are 1 and 3. 2 and 3. And what did you just do? Substitute. Now, some of you, just to make sure we're all on the same page, may have chosen to do, 3's congruent to 4, 1's congruent to 3. If you put 1 congruent to 4 here instead, you're correct. You're correct. That's fine. You just used 2 different congruent statements. Last thing now, is that there something I haven't used in the givens? Which statement have I not used? 3 and 4 being congruent. You got to use everything. So if 3 and 4 are equal, and I combine that with 2 and 3 being equal, now which 2 angles are going to be equal?
2 is congruent to 4.
2 is congruent to 4 by a second substitution. And that's what I wanted. If 2 is congruent to 4, that makes K, M, and Ln parallel. Whoa, maybe not. And the reason, what type of angles were 2 and 4? So corresponding angles. Hey, and I heard a couple people say this, but you forgot a key word. If you start putting the arrow there now, that's incorrect. Just because you have corresponding angles means squat. You want parallel lines, those corresponding angles have to be congruent to each other. Imply parallel lines. Questions? All right, we're going to go through the homework right now and fill in the boxes. What must I have first before I get the lines parallel? So we're all on the same page going into the 4-day weekend, which, by the way, averages 1 proof a day. I think we can get it done by Tuesday. You can average. Actually, how many do you have? 4 or 5? You guys? 5. All right. 1.25 proofs a day. All right. How about that? All right. Let's look at number 1. If I'm going to get, and I'll highlight them on mine, if I'm going to get BF and GH parallel, what two angles have to be proven congruent first? Or if I gave you that, what two angles up there? Remember, we're only looking at the numbered ones. That's the only ones we care about. 1 and 2.
No.
I think we got the wrong parallel lines. 1 and 2 would be to prove AC and DG.
2 and 3.
2 and
3.
3. Yep. So if somehow you guys can get 2 congruent to 3, that would be great. And remember, you have to get these angles congruent by another method than saying parallel lines imply, because you don't have parallel lines. It's got to be like a substitution, addition, subtraction type deal. All right. Next up. Ooh, yes, I know that I reuse diagrams, but it's not the same proof. ED parallel to BA. What two angles would need to be proven congruent? First, this may help even more. What would be my transversal here? Where's the line up here that intersects both of them?
GB.
Okay, so let me highlight that one too. I should have did a different color. Anybody see a pair of angles that would be congruent if they were parallel? Bennett, what's good? GED would need to be congruent to angle EBA. Yep. So use your givens to get them congruent. Use your givens to get them congruent. And some of you are probably seeing it as you do it, but all right, let's just keep going. Number 3. How do I get AB parallel to CD? What am I going to need here, Kira? Congruent to 3? What type of angles? Whoa. Here, okay, somebody did that in second period too. Linear pairs don't make parallel lines. 3 congruent to 1. Yeah, hey, and I'm glad Kira made that mistake because I'm sure many of you would in the future as well. Linear pairs don't make parallel lines. They got to be alternate interior, corresponding, right? They got to be the special type. Linear pairs, vertical angles do not make parallel lines. You guys are doing a good job. Whoa, the bisects ones, I love it. Let's see, EF. We got to prove E. Ooh, this one's a good one. EF and GH. Where's my transversal so I can highlight it?
JK.
Yep, good. And I'm not going to make this joke again, even though some of you probably still don't understand it. All right, what angles would need to be proven congruent here then? Anybody see a special type formed by those 3 lines? It's got to be on those 3 lines.
Oh.
Don't give me anything that's got EB or GD on it. It's got to be with those. Zach? Or not?
BEG and DGK.
Okay, you said BEG, but BE is not part of any of the lines I have up here. It's got to be EF, GH, and JK up there. It's got to be those. Will? Yeah, it's got to be these 2, right? Because what type of angles are those? Yep, so you got to prove somehow JEF is congruent to, what do we say, EGH? All right, your angles that you give me have to be on those lines. And then one more, and then you guys can start. What's your deal?
I was gonna ask, like, when is this, like, how much time do you want?
Enough time to start. How about that? Okay. A good answer? Yeah, darn right it was. Where's your transversal up here? Where's the line that, or ray, or anything that intersects both of them?
There's BE.
There's a line up there that intersects both.
BE.
BE, right? All right, so where are the angles? Where are the angles up here? Bennett, go ahead. 1 and 3 and 4? 1 and 4, yep. So I need 1 congruent to 4 somehow. All right, 1 congruent to 4 somehow. All right, there you go. Start your stuff.
Could we all, since it essentially meant the same thing, can we also say 4 and 3?
No, because GH is not a part of it. See how angle 3, GH is a part of it? But I'm not trying to prove that parallel at all. I need something on the lines and the transversal.